Hey folks, it's Michael here. This is a quick example, kind of a case study in why it's good to have a realtor. And we're going to, just so you know, delay publishing this video for months because I don't want the person to end up seeing it or, feeling like the point of this video is to shame them or anything. I don't want there to be any connection there. But I have a client, sort of, an acquaintance that I was helping this family many years ago in the process of buying their first home, and they ended up not working with me. They bought a home for sale by owner without me, and it was fine. There was no drama, there was no big parting of ways. Nothing like that. I kind of thought that might happen actually when I started working with them, and it did. So I've kept in touch with them. I've known them around the community for years. And then just recently, about a week or so ago, I got a phone call and series of text messages checking in because they were curious about now selling that house. So long story short, I say, okay, sure, I'd be happy to price the property for you and get a plan going. So I go pull public records. In real estate, we call that pulling a list kit. So we go to the title and escrow company and ask for copies of things like the deed, tax records, plat maps, so on and so forth, to verify information about the property to help us price it. And one of the things that you're, of course, always doing when you look at these public records is checking who the owner of the property is. And this was the first time ever that I pulled those records and thought for a moment there might have been a mistake, actually. So I reached back out to the family and said, hey guys, who are these people? Because, unless there's a typo on the address, this isn't your home. And they said, oh, those are the people that we're buying the house from. And I kind of scratched my head. I was really confused. And we had a confused text message conversation go back and forth for a bit before I realized that they had never actually even completed the purchase. They're talking with me about selling the home, and they don't own it. They have no legal claim to title on this property. Turns out that they never actually really closed on the purchase. It was a land sale contract or owner carry, seller financing, whatever one of those terms you want to call it. And so when I asked them for a copy of the land sale contract, they kind of laughed and said, unfortunately, that it was all verbal. So I talked with a local title and escrow representative to make sure that I wasn't going to inform them of the wrong thing. But with a verbal contract, there is no contract really there. I seem to recall correctly, and some lawyer can, correct me, but I think it's called the Statute of Frauds from when I was getting my real estate license, and that's the actual statute that talks about how a verbal contract is worth the paper that it's written on. So it turns out that these folks have no legal claim to title. They have no authority to actually sell the property. They have literally just been living in a house that they don't own and don't even have a rental agreement for. So they've been paying someone to live in a house. They're not actually building any equity, and I'm pretty sure they even replaced the roof a few years ago on somebody else's house. And so it turns out that what they were really trying to accomplish was to finish the purchase so that they could sell it to someone else, or rather sell the house to someone else and make the money in the process. And it doesn't look like there's an easy way to do that. The advice that I had to give them, of course, was to talk with a lawyer at this point, have a land sales contract drawn up and recorded on public record that clearly states that even if they turn right back around and sell the property, that they are allowed to do so, and they still only owe the initial owners, the sellers over there, whatever it was that they had agreed to pay them. But I have the feeling, and I think we all know where this is going to go. That's probably not what's going to be happening here. I think they've basically been paying rent without the protection of a rental agreement and did a very nice deed putting a roof on someone else's house that they don't have a claim to whatsoever. So this is a really good example of unfortunately something that can go wrong when you just don't go through this process the way that it's laid out to protect the buyers and protect the sellers, quite frankly. The realtor's job exists for many reasons, and I hate fear-based thinking, so I'm hesitant to even share a story like this with you because often stuff like this doesn't happen. But, we're here to guard people's interests and guide them through the process for what's usually the biggest financial investment that they ever make in their lives. And, a lot of us are really taken a lot of pride in that. We view ourselves as trusted advisors. We're here for you, not because we think this is an easy way to make money, because goodness knows, anyone who knows myself or any of my realtor friends, you know that we work our tails off and there is nothing easy about this. So I wanted to share this story with you guys as just a random example of why it's good to have a realtor, why it's good to have somebody represent you, because stuff like this does happen. So I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope this finds you well. Thanks, and bye for now.